Hello everyone, it's Michael Dockery from Design Industries in our series of Meet the Marketplace Vendor, the Atlassian Marketplace Vendor I should say, and today we've got Alexandre from ikuTeam, who's going to tell us around team files and talk to us about team files. And yeah, large file storage is an issue for most organizations. So yeah, Alexandre is going to tell us all about it. Would you like to tell us what you've got today for us, Alexandre?
Hi, Michael. Tom. First of all, thanks for the opportunity to be here to share with everyone what we actually do. So basically, ikuTeam, we are an Atlassian Marketplace partner, and we are based in Porto. And our flagship product, as you mentioned, is Team Files. And the idea around Team Files is pretty much a way to attach and folders and files to Confluence and Jira to allow collaboration among teams. So what I want to do here today is pretty much we're going to go and show Team Files in action. Okay, so everyone can see the benefits and what can be done, and then we take from there. So if you allow me here, I'll just share my screen.
Sounds good.
And here we go. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
I have to say, I love that photo. It really does make me want to visit.
That's nice. Yeah, Porto is a real nice city, and actually, it's a city I chose to live, and it's a pretty good place. Anyway, so here let's start with mainly what I want to do here. We are at Confluence right now. So once everyone installs the team files, the app will show here. And basically, as you can see, I'm here in a Confluence page. And the main idea is to actually see a lot of, you can see files and folders connected to that Confluence page. Okay, so for instance, if I'm here, I have one Google file, I can preview this file directly here. And the same goes for an Office file as well. But anyway, let's start with the beginning, okay? So pretty much, once you have the app, let me click here so we can open it. Here we go. Let me put the screen aside just a little bit. Okie dokie. So here, what do you do once you install the team files? Pretty much you want to connect a folder, right? And if you come here, you can connect several places. One of the differences we do have is that we allow multiple cloud storage to be connected into Confluence and Jira. So once I connect a place, the app gives me those options here. Okay, so there I already have two of them connected for our presentation. So, and if here I already have one folder for SharePoint and one folder for Google. If I want to add another folder, for instance, I just come here, okay, and let's say I want to do this from Google Drive. And I can just come in here and I say, I want to share this demo folder, which is already shared there, if I'm not mistaken. But let's not do this. Let me just click and go through it here. So I want to share the other folder. I just come in here, and the folder is then connected to team files. But that's what you do. Basically, that's the setup you have to do. You just choose the place you want to connect, and then you choose the folders you want to have connected as well to Confluence or Jira. And so mainly what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back here to the team files page. Okay, and let's suppose if I want, I'm just going to edit this particular page. And if I want to add something here, we have a macro. Okay, just come in here and say, I want to add a folder or a file. And here I have all of those that we have already selected. Well, for instance, I can come in here and say, I want this particular share this file here. So this Excel file, for instance, it says here that I want to link it. And let me just over here, and I'm going to insert the file. As you guys can see, the file is already embedded here. So if I publish it, you have the file. And the beauty of this is that this particular, what we have here, it's directly connected to your storage. So you have only one file, which this means we are not actually uploading the file to Confluence or Jira. It's good because it doesn't bloat the instance. I mean, you're not going to make your Jira or Confluence slow because you have several files attached here. You have a direct pipe to your storage. So once I just connected this, for instance, I can come here and have a preview of it. I can just, with one click, edit that particular file. So it comes in here. So let's suppose I want to change this value to.
Do you need to be licensed? Do you need to be licensed with Microsoft to be able to edit this page?
This particular one, no, because here in this one, yeah, I'm using the Excel file here. Either you can, if you are licensed to Microsoft, you're going to edit into Microsoft, right? But if you're not, and if you use Google, then you can edit using Google.
Cool.
Okay, so I just added here. If we come and just gonna refresh the page. And there it is, it's already edited. So you generate a single source of truth because whatever it's updated here, it's gonna be updated everywhere. One thing that also, and here you see, I just have a file. We can also actually attach a folder. And once you attach a folder, you can actually make a file manager available to your Confluence or Jira. So for instance, if I come here, I can actually navigate through those folders. And from here itself, I can even come here and say, I want to create a new folder. So this folder, it's gonna be for our project design industries, for instance. I create here. And we already have a folder created. And from here, if I want to upload the file, I could either come here and say, I want to upload a file here, and it's gonna be there.
Mm. And because I think from my experience, we see organizations have a variety of different large file storage solutions happening simultaneously. What's your experience about the general footprint of a lot of organizations when it comes to how they do this?
Well, actually, if you can see, imagine companies, small or big ones, right? I mean, files, it's everywhere, and you use that all the time. And what usually happens is that inevitably, we lose track of those files, right? Or where they are. Am I updating the right file? Am I actually reading the right file? So what companies do when they use our app is that they ensure the teams are actually collaborating and accessing the same file, which means, there is a McKinsey study that says that around 19% of the working time is spent tracking information. So imagine if you have something like this that can actually allow everyone to be dealing with this single source of truth, you save a lot of time. Not to say that, for instance, imagine that you have a big company and different departments. So one department actually uses OneDrive or SharePoint for their files, and another department prefers to use Google Drive, for instance. And by using our app, you can actually merge those in the same Confluence page or Jira issue. You can just do that. And another thing as well that our app allows, and I'm going to show you later, is that if I'm a Jira user, right, and I can access the same file that someone is accessing Confluence. If I edit it through Confluence, right, using our app, it's going to be immediately available for the Jira users. So in essence, we are ensuring that everybody is actually updating and seeing, reading, and using the same file in the latest version. So you don't spend time looking for it.
Yeah, that's great. Because once you start thinking across different teams and functions and the types of documents and assets that they're working with, you can see that there might be a demand to have different types of files stored in different large storage type scenarios. But yeah, the single source of truth, well, to be honest, it's the be all and end all. As a business, you need a single source of truth. Otherwise, mistakes happen and there's consequences.
Exactly.
So yeah.
That's exactly. So for instance, if let's suppose you want to, let's take this file here. Okay, so let's suppose I want to edit this particular file. Okay, and now let's come to Jira, because as I said, Jira also has, you can also have this in Jira. So I can come in here. Okay, so you can see this is an issue, right? In Jira, you have here the option to attach files. So again, this is gonna be available. And from here, you can, as I did, in Confluence, you can choose whatever you want to actually connect. Okay, so from here, I could come to Google here, or even SharePoint, and navigate here to have those particular files connected. But anyway, let me cancel and let me show what I wanted to do. Actually, it is, so for instance, let's suppose from here, and I want to, let me just remember which file I'm updating it. So the MS file that is in Microsoft. So the Microsoft, if I come in here.
It's interesting as an Atlassian, I'm thinking to myself, why is the organization using Word documents as a storage type scenario? You should be using Confluence. Yeah,
yeah, but imagine, I mean, if you have spreadsheets or something, you come to those. Unavoidable. It's the same thing, I think, as emails. Why do you still use emails? Because they are there. And we are used to those.
Well, look, I look at Excel and think, yeah, that's an amazing product. I actually think it's Microsoft's best product. It's just so useful, and there's really no competitor. There's Google Sheets, but it's not a shadow of Excel.
Yep.
And yeah, with things like SharePoint and PowerPoint, that can be done in Confluence, and you can export and things like that. Yeah. But I can just see, there's so many different types of files that teams use, like particularly image files. It could be any type of file that this particular team needs to use. And yeah, they've got it stored somewhere. Yes. And to be able to bring that into a Jira ticket, to be able to bring the graphic assets into a Jira ticket, for example, for the sales and marketing team, it's huge.
It's huge. It's powerful, as you said. So, for instance, what I wanted to show here is that I was actually, so here I just have my preview. What I want to do is I also want to edit the same file. Okay, so if I come here and say now I am updating this spreadsheet from Confluence. Okay, and if I come in here, it should actually be here. I know what I just did it here, sorry. And for this particular one, I need to be connected, okay? Because this who controls is actually the Microsoft, and I'm not here connected to my account. But let me do this again with a Google file, for instance. So where is it? And I'll show this with Microsoft, okay? Because it works. I doesn't want to come here to a demo that doesn't work. And so if we just want to open it here, let me open this particular Pro.
And it's interesting where organizations land. Like, I think every organization ultimately, because you need email, you're either going to end up at Google or Microsoft. But then it's the replication of those functions into Atlassian. But yeah, we use Google, and yeah, we've got our G drive with lots of stuff in there.
I see. So updating spreadsheet from Confluence here, and if you're coming here. Well, Michael, looks like I'm not doing the right thing here for some reason.
That's all right. It's a blue screen and death. It happens.
Yeah, but the idea is exactly that. Once you do this, you have a single source of truth, and actually you can edit it from here. So let me show one thing here which I wanted to do is that, for instance, big companies, right? If they have and they want to have some control of who has access to edit the files, for instance. If we come here to the settings, right? So I come to team file setting, and I have the option to actually either use the permissions from Confluence. So first of all, I can actually also say which places I want my team to connect files from. Okay, so as an administrator, I can do that. So I can allow everything, or I can actually disable some of them. And if I come to here, I can actually set the permissions for instance, I want the SharePoint and OneDrive permissions to prevail. And here I'm doing this with team files. And then I can do the same thing here with Jira. So if I come here, so and here we are, we come and I'll do the same thing. So what I'm telling the Confluence in Jira here is that whenever someone's going to edit the file, it has to go through Microsoft permissions first, right? If I'm talking about those particular files. So coming back here, let me just go to my page. And let's say I want to come here to SharePoint and I want to edit this particular file. See, it asks for my account at Microsoft once I set that particular scenario. So I'll just put it here. And here I'm editing this file in Word. So, and I want to do the same thing in Jira. So this is not here.
Just thinking to myself, it's amazing how I guess the landscape has evolved over time, and yeah, the type of information that we're storing, we're working with, the different manufacturers, and then how we integrate. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, and then here, if we come to, I want to edit here as well. Okay. So as I was logged already, so let's suppose we are talking about two different persons, right? But here, now I want to update this. It's not taken here for some. If I'm connected, and I am connected. Michael, my apologies. I'm doing. Oh, no, it's here. Just taking some time. See,
it's got to go around the world, around the internet.
Yeah, I just want to be fast.
It's got to go to Microsoft headquarters, and
exactly. So probably the same happened with the other one with Google. But here you are. See, I want to update this form. So from Confluence, and it knows I am updating. So imagine we have the team, right, collaborating here. I'm actually going beyond, because the team could be collaborating only using Confluence, right? And that would be straightforward. But now I have one person editing this in Confluence, and the other one in Jira is already seeing the same thing, and the other way around. Because again, we are just doing this with the same file. So it's guaranteed, it's going to be one source of truth.
think it's amazing. See, I was thinking about, productivity gains, and particularly with single source of truth, it's probably more around error reduction, because if you have different versions, mistakes get made and they're extremely costly. Let alone being able to have teams who might be in separate digital ecosystems actually being able to effectively work together and collaborate in real time. I mean, that's going to save so much time, reduce mistakes.
Indeed, and for instance here, as I said, we have files and folders from Google Drive, and you have files and folders from SharePoint. You could have from Dropbox, you could have from Box, and so you have different teams working different things. They could share from different places as well, and you can even connect to your service as well. You can do a connection to FTP as well, so to have it here.
And that pretty much opens the window to pretty much everything, doesn't it? So
it does. Indeed does. So and again, come to the macro, right? So let me add it again. So just to finalize this here. So as you said, especially in conference, right? You said we usually want to embed pictures or some graphic here, right? I could just come in here, and I'm not sure if I have it here, but let's see if it's here. It's here. Yeah, I have one particular picture which I want to insert. And I'm gonna just publish it. And there you go, it is here. So you could have this picture here. As you can see, by default, we have all of these collapsed, but if you want this to be always, I'm just struggling here with changing windows from one place to another, but
it's a wonderful world of trying to show a piece of software where you end up jumping through. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I did a presentation once, and I counted afterwards how many tabs I went through. It was over 100. Over 100 in an hour and a half. And it's just like, how do you?
It's crazy.
There's a lot to cover. What can I say?
Yeah. So, and what I want to show here is, as I said, by default it comes collapsed, right? But I can actually say I want this expanded. So imagine I have a beautiful conference page where I want that all my pictures are actually open, expanded whenever someone accesses it. So I just did this to have it expanded. So if I come back to that particular page now, as you can see, everything is going to be already expanded here. Oh, sorry, I just click it, and see, you can come through here, and there we go. Everything was expanded. So imagine you have pictures, and if you want a graph to show, you're gonna have it here.
That's amazing for the marketing teams and the sales teams.
Yeah. So let me see if I covered everything. You can actually, you can attach files, right? You can attach folders from multiple cloud storages, right? You can actually have a file manager where you can navigate from here directly. So if I come in here, as I said, we can actually create, right, the new folder. I can also, let me put it here. Let's see if I just can. One more thing to show. Folder it's here, and that's it. So you can see, you can rename, you can open directly from here. If by any chance you want to go directly to SharePoint or to Google Drive, you can do it from here as well. And as we are here, just as a final thing, so I'll just come to the file manager. As I said, I can come here and say that from here, I want to actually, so I go to my demo folder. I can also create documents directly from here. Okay, if I want a new Word document or if I want a new Google document, I can do it from here. I can come in here and say I want to create this. I say the file, it's design industries. And I create it here. And here we go. The document is already created. I can edit from here.
It's amazing. It really does bring some ecosystems together, in a pretty amazing way. Just again, thinking about return on investment, right? So how much time do you think, I'm just pulling this question out of thin air, but how much time do people waste, do you think, in average organizations because they don't have the right version, because they're not working with a single source of truth?
Well, I cannot quantify in terms, in terms of value, but of course about hours. And actually, it's not I am saying that. Actually, there is this McKinsey study that I mentioned that says that 19% of the working time is spent tracking the right information. So you can imagine that. So we can do the math, right? So with that particular information, and see how much time we can save for everyone.
Well, because yeah, it's interesting because I'm looking at the pricing and it's just like, it's extremely competitive, shall we say, in terms of the value that you're going to get by being able to have this capability of having a single source of truth, even if you're multi-platform, the things that you're running. And yeah, you compare how much you're paying your staff. And it's not just, it's the time wasted, it's the frustration and it's the stress that turns up in the meetings when, oh, we made a mistake, and these are hidden costs that I don't think are really well understood. So yeah, look, thanks very much for your presentation today. It's certainly given me some thoughts on how Microsoft and Atlassian can live alongside, because that's the thing. It's like, as an organization, it's like, why do we have a Word document? But I can certainly see spreadsheets and and other different types of files, but everyone should be in Confluence. Why not? So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So and I really appreciate the opportunity again, Michael. Thanks for allowing me to share this with the team. So if anyone needs to contact me, right, it's just here. It's my email. Can come directly to me. I can provide further information. I can help doing some demonstration if they need. And again, just go to the marketplace, search for ikuTeam, and you're going to see team files there. It's our flagship app. You guys are going to see that we also have other apps, and those apps are actually a subset of team files. So for instance, if a company only has the need for Google Drive, we have a subset of team files for Google Drive, and the same goes for SharePoint and Dropbox and Box, for instance. Okay, so that's mainly it.
Yeah, and great. And one of the great things about this is just super easy to implement. It should take about an hour of administration to be able to configure it and connect everything. And yeah,
the installation and the configuration, it's going to be pretty fast. What's going to take time, it depends on the size of the company, and if they have policies where they want to ensure that certain teams has access to this or to that, then that's will be a little bit more complex, because you're actually adding complexity for using your policies, right? However, if you don't need that, it's just what we've done here. In 5 minutes, you can already connect and start attaching files and folders to the Confluence and Jira.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's an interesting one in terms of, and we see that as a growing demand to get right and pay more attention to, is around permissions across the enterprise. And yeah, it's important because you want to have high confidence that you've got a solid process, good governance, so that we, as an organization, we can trust to put highly sensitive documents or artifacts into our environment because we're crystal clear that only the correct people have access. So yeah, it's interesting. It's a growing challenge, and particularly when you're multi-platform. So if you're in Microsoft and you're in Google, and I mean, like Design Industries does have Microsoft. We've got all three, obviously, but we just use Google for large file storage. We use and email and calendar, and Microsoft. What do we use it for? Excel, and so we can read files that clients send us.
Yes.
But these are the things. So, look, thanks very much for your time. Absolute pleasure. And there it is, the lovely city of Porto. Great food, sunny days. Well, that's kind of like Melbourne. We probably don't have so many sunny days, particularly in the middle of winter. But yeah, thanks very much for your time. Really appreciate it. And yeah, if anyone in the audience has got any questions, please get in touch with myself or Alexandra, and we'll help you out.
It'll be my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.